Okay, I was just going to show you around a little bit here in my Open Math to kind of get you started. So I have all these courses just because I've been using this for a while, so you probably won't have any here, but what you'll want to do is add new course and you'll copy a template or promote, or right here, we want to do copy from my or my colleagues' courses. So we'll do this, and then you'll put in that ID that I shared with you. It'll look up the course, and then you'll have to put in the key, and then that should copy it into your spot right here into your courses that you're teaching. And when you set it up, you can name it however you want and set up the start date, end date, all that kind of stuff. And so this is one that I just recently copied. So I don't think I even set that stuff up. So when I click on it, it brings me here. And you'll want to go to the instructor contact information because it's probably going to have my stuff. And so you'll want to go ahead and modify that and put in your details. Here we have the OpenStax textbook already here. You know, you can use it to help you as you teach the course, but I'll go ahead and send you my notes, and that should pretty much be enough for the students, but they can use it as a reference if they want. And so let me see. Oh yeah, let me go to course settings. So right now I didn't really set much of this up. So accessibility. So it's available to students. And so you don't have to put a start or end date, but I typically do. But that goes there. And then under additional options, I did want to show you this. Right now I have it set up for 4 late passes. And I give them a lot of time just because whenever the assignments due, that's when the clock starts ticking on your, if you want to have an extended assignment. So let's say the student at the end of the semester wants to go back and work on something from January. If you don't set this up for a long period of time, they'll use their late pass, but it won't allow them to actually work on the assignment. So I just give them 100 days basically. And so if they haven't done it within 100 days, then they lose the chance of using a late pass. But that's the reason why I give them such a longer period of time. So if you only gave them like 48 hours, the problem with that is that if the assignment's already overdue by 3 days, it won't even work. So anyways, that's something you don't even have to do late passes if you don't want to, but that's something I do. So I give them 4. All right, so get out of here. So back here, this is what it looks like when I log in to my class. Student perspective is pretty similar right here. So they get a calendar and stuff like that. So let me go back to my instructor. So right now my dates are kind of all screwed up because when I copied it over, it has all my dates from my from the fall semester. So I'm going to go ahead and change those dates now so you can kind of see how to do that. So let me see. I'm going to try the time shift. I usually do dates. I'll show you both. Let's look at time shift. So what I can do is I can select an assignment, and I'm going to select my first assignment, homework 1.1. And let's see, change date based on the available after due date. Let's see, available until the due date. Let's see, so I don't know. This class, that'll start on the 13th. I'll make it due the 19th. Let me see what happens here. Like I said, this is kind of new to me. There we go. So it looks like it shifted all my dates for me, which is okay. That worked out pretty nice. But if you go into dates right here, this is kind of can look a little confusing, but it's not too bad. You can see my start date and my end date. So it moved all my start dates. That's kind of nice. So they moved them all up to the 12th. And then my unit 2 is going to start probably a little bit later than this, but it shifted it to January 27th. And I got February 10th and so on. So yeah, it definitely didn't shift them far enough. Oh, I know why. This course that I taught was an 8-week course, and so that's why all these times are a little bit closer together. Um, so if I want to, let's see, I know Unit 2 is going to actually probably won't start until mid-February. And actually, let me see, I might have my calendar here, and this is something I'll share with you also. So let me pull up my calendar. So let's see, my Unit 2 is going to start probably around February 11th. So let me go ahead and do that. So what I want to do is I'm just going to highlight my whole Unit 2, and I'm going to change this date right here to February 11th. And then what I can do is go to action over here and copy down start date and time. So I'm going to click that. And so what happens is it changed all of those that are highlighted from Unit 2. They're all clicked right now. Then let's see my due date. My due dates are going to be off. So let me see. I'm going to go ahead and, oops. I'm going to go ahead and change this to like, let's see, if I start on the 11th, this assignment would probably be due, just say a week later, the 18th. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy down the end date and time. And so it's going to change all of those. And then now I can kind of go in individually and be like, okay, well, this one will probably be due a couple days later. This one would probably be due around the 25th. And then let's see this next one, make that one do, and you'll just, I'll probably look at my calendar later to make sure it's accurate. And then this one probably won't be due until March. So now that I'm into March, I might want to copy down again. So I'm going to click in this row right here and do copy down end date and time. And so then it will pop those into March also. So that I'm not having to flip through the calendar every time. And so anyways, I'll probably play with these a little bit later. But so if you click a unit, it will highlight all of them. Or if you only want to deal with a couple of them, you can just highlight just a few of them. And then what that will do is that's the command over here that says action. And so it will do whatever is highlighted or whatever's checked right here will do the same command with your action right there. And so that works pretty good. The shifting worked well. The only problem was, like I said, this was an 8-week course, and now I'm teaching a 16-week course this semester. And so my dates actually need to be spread a little bit further out, but that's okay. That's something I'll work on later. But it's not too bad. You'll, like I said, just play around with it. You'll be fine. So let me go back here. And so you can see here's my calendar, and it will show the students and myself so I can keep track of it. Whenever an assignment shows up here, that's when it's due. So 1.1 would be due on the 19th and so on here. And I can kind of go into the next couple weeks or months. Let me see. You can set it up to show as much as you want. So you can have your calendar be much larger. So there's January, and then we go into February there. It's probably, probably a little too much, a little overkill. So I'm going to go back to 4 weeks. So that works well for me. Okay, so here's where your units are. And so I've got these folders. I have this hidden folder. You can see it says hidden. I just kind of ignore that. That's for when I teach online because I have to proctor my exams. And so I need to keep them hidden for different things. The units say they're currently hidden, but that's just because they're not available yet for students. So you don't really have to worry about that. This one's permanently hidden down here. These will show up eventually, or I can make them available now if I want to. So you can just go here and go to modify, and that's where you can adjust, when it's available. You could also, this is only available till the January 14th. That's kind of weird. So, or no, it's always available after start date. Okay, I'm good. So you can see you can make it to where it's not available eventually. You might as well keep it open all semester in case students want to go back and look at some old stuff. So once it opens, I would keep it open. All right, so let's see. What else? Gradebook. So the gradebook, the way I have that set up, let me go to settings. You have a default, just kind of ignore that. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to be there. So for my regular exams, I have that count 60%. I usually I replace their lowest one with how they perform on the final exam. So I count the final exam twice. I count it as a final exam, and then I also count it as a regular exam score. And then I drop the lowest one. So basically adding that extra score there will replace whatever their lowest score was on their regular exams. For right now, I'm going to do keep all because I don't want them to be confused about what their grade is. So usually I don't do that till the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and put that at keep all. And then same thing here with my homework. So my homework's 20%, but I'm going to go ahead and do keep all right now. Typically, I will drop the lowest two. I don't know why it says keep the highest two. Just delete that. And then here, the final exam is 20% right there. And so I'll just go ahead and hit save. That's fine. Now, after you give an exam, the way you'll put it in here into your grade book is you'll want to go to offline grades and go to add, and then put in whatever you want. Unit 1 exam, it's worth 100 points. And I'll go ahead and put mine in now. So my first exam is around February 11th, I think, something like that. So I'll put it in here, and then I'm going to put it under regular exam. So you got to go here, because if not, it's going to go to default. You can always adjust it later. I've done it before where I accidentally put it in default, and so I just have to go back later and fix it. So regular exam, count in the grade book, and then we'll go ahead and say submit down here. And so since I don't have any students in the class right now, I can't put in the grades, but if I did have students in my course, then I would have been able to add the grades at that time before I hit submit. And then you can always go back later and adjust or change the grade if you need to. So that's how you are going to add those. And so then, like I said, for final exam, I count it twice. I count it under final exam, and then I put it in as a regular exam, and I title it, I believe, right here, final exam replacement score. So that's my replacement score. So instead of just dropping their lowest exam, I replace it with how they perform on the final. Typically, that's actually more helpful than just dropping one. So typically that can help them out more. All right, let's see. So if I go here to roster, that's where you can manage late passes. So if you decide you want to add an extra late pass to all students, typically if I'm going to add 1 for 1, I'm going to give it to everybody. Just kind of depends on the circumstance, but that's there. Just a couple other things you can do at roster. So like if a student drops the course, you can freeze their account so they don't keep working on it, that kind of stuff. Let's see. I think that's going to be most of it for now, just kind of get you started. Let me show you what the assignments look like. So down here, I do have some videos and notes. Some of them are a little outdated, not too bad. I mean, not by much, but I'm always kind of adjusting my notes, just always trying to make them a little bit better. So they might not match exactly what I'm going to email you, but they're going to be pretty close, like 90, 95% the same, okay? Every once in a while, I'll change an example, something like that. But other than that, they should be pretty identical. So if a student's absent, they can always go in and watch these videos, and that should pretty much help them get caught up. But let's go ahead and look at one of these assignments, or let me just go into the questions. I'll show you how you kind of build them in case you want to change some of these questions. So here are my questions for this first assignment. And so if I want to, I can go over here and hit preview so you can kind of see what it is. And we start out pretty basic, just reviewing factoring. So factor the GCF. So they pull out the 2, and what remains is the A plus 6. So they won't see that part right here. That's just for us. So kind of going through here, just GCF, and then eventually we get to factor by grouping, and then factor a trinomial right here. And you'll notice not all of them, but I try to pick a lot of them that have videos. So you can see, if you see the little play button right here, that means it's going to have a video. And so these videos are usually pretty helpful. They're posted by instructors. This is basically just like a file sharing platform. And so people make questions and videos. And so you've got that. Let me see. It's not. All right. Yeah. Let me show you how you can add questions. So if you want to add some of your own factoring questions, you can just type in factoring. The more detailed you are, the less that will come up. It can be good and bad on being detailed or not. If you're too detailed, you're not going to get enough questions that pop up. And if you're too broad, you're going to kind of get lost in it. But what you want to do is when you type in what you want to search, you need to put all libraries. So you want to do all libraries. And this one's going to think for a moment because I was pretty broad on this. And so here are all the different factoring ones. You can read the description or just kind of, I think it might be easier just kind of click through the previews and kind of look and see what they have here. Sometimes you might want to click on it a couple times to see the different like iterations of it, because sometimes you might get one where you're not expecting and you don't want that to the student to get any surprises. So sometimes you want to click on it a couple times just to see what you're looking at. So you can organize it. A lot of times I'll organize it by times used. So right here, this question's been used over 47,000 times. So I feel pretty confident that it's a good question to use. So I click on it. Yeah, it's factoring, but it's also simplifying rational expressions. Might not be valid for this assessment, but anyways, click through here, factor the expression completely. There's a video. So like I said, I like to pick the ones with videos. I don't always pick those, but those are good ones to pick just so that student has an extra resource. So a lot of these are factoring and simplifying. So you could, let's see, we could say solve by factoring. And so what that'll do is now we'll have equations instead. And this is kind of funny. This is Blitzer right here. That's the book we used to use. So some of these questions are coming from textbooks right here. And so I'm going to click on it a couple times just to see it. So factor it, rewrite it, and then they want the solution set. So first they have to show that they can factor it, and then there are the solutions right there. These are all similar formats right there. And so once again, if you want to click on times used, you can see, okay, this one's been used over 100,000 times. So it's probably a pretty good question. So they have their two solutions here. So you type one solution here and the other solution below. So, and if you want to add them, just check mark them and click add if you want to add those. And then up here to the assignment that already exists, if you want to check some of these and remove them, that's fine too. So just kind of play around with it. All right. The ones here that have that sign right there, that means that there's only one version of it. So if you click on it, it's just the same thing over and over again. So I took a bunch of them and grouped them together so that if a student gets it wrong, they can try again and they'll get a different version of it. Okay, so this is set up to where I believe students get 3 attempts. And once they're wrong for the 3rd attempt, they're wrong and they can always try again. So let me go into the student perspective so you can see this. Let's see. So let's go to student. Oh, that's not going to work because it's not available yet. Let me just click on this and do student preview. So this one right here says, so some of these, the instructors that helped build these did put videos in here. So they could watch this video, or we can just go to the first question. That's what we'll do here. So something I haven't mentioned yet is this thing that says post to forum. Students can, if they're confused on a question, they can post here and they can say, hey, I'm having a hard time with this. Please give me a hint, something to that effect, and then post it. And you can respond to them, and then all students can see it also. And so go ahead and get out of here though. And so those things will pop up here. So right here it says forums. And so you'll get post and it'll be in red. So you'll notice it. It'll be up here and it'll say you have 1 message or whatever, 2, 3 messages. And so you can go in there and see those and answer any student questions. And then see, here's the Unit 1 forum right here. So you can, students will see this. All right, let me go back in here real quick. So let's see, student preview. Okay. All right, so as I click through this, so you can see that post, the forums are always there. And then let's try, let me show you if I get it wrong. See, I'm gonna get it wrong on purpose a couple times. Nope, I'm wrong. Anyways, I can keep doing it and submit it again. Your answers have not changed. Okay, let's change one of them. Okay, I'm wrong again. Let's try again. Wrong again. So apparently sometimes I guess they'll give you more than 2 or 3 tries. Trying to max it out. Anyways, eventually you max it out. Oh, I maxed it out now. So I can't guess anymore, but I can do similar question. And there you go. Now I get to try again. All right. So I know it's probably a lot, but I think you'll actually enjoy it quite a bit. We've moved over to this program a little over a year ago. Not all of our instructors, but a lot of them have, and they've really enjoyed it. So if you have any questions or concerns about it, let me know. I'll be more than happy to work with you.